this is Mary.
And Amma.
Leave us a like,
Share.
subscribe,
And comment.
down below, y'all. Today we are going to be talking about
Alex Murdaugh has finally been found guilty. I think they had like 6 weeks of trial. He has been found guilty for the death of, for the killing of his wife, Maggie Murdaugh, and his son, Paul Murdaugh.
wow.
This man was just something else. He came from, he has gotten convicted for this, but he still has 99 charges in terms of all the financial stealing he did in his law firm, that he was partnered with other people. He has 99 charges, and he also has 19 indictments. All of those trials got to happen.
Yeah.
So it's not over for him. He was sentenced to 2 consecutive life imprisonments. Now, I watch this show here and there, not consistently, but I did see the part when, especially when he was talking to, his mom wasn't well. This happened on June 7th, 2021. His father passed away like 3 days later on June 10th, I believe. Anyhow, like, this man has stolen. According to him, he was on opioid drugs, and like the way he will steal from people. Things like, okay, let's just say, for example, someone got into an accident with UPS, and UPS was at fault.
Yeah.
They will come and see you in the hospital and be like, hey, okay, we're going to represent you.
Right.
And a lot of times they will settle, right? And so say you got $3 million settlement. They'll take their cut, $800,000, probably give the person $300,000, and then he takes the million left, something like that.
Yeah.
He will steal that extra.
Yeah.
Even though their firm has already gotten paid. And he did this for years.
Wow.
And the partners did not know at all.
Wow.
Because they would have already gotten paid. But he will steal. And then he was trying to give the thing of, well, I was on, I had problems with pills. I think since 2006 he had problems with drugs. And he has been taking these drugs and stuff, and, But I don't think that was it. This man, when you look at his family history, since 1920, his great-grandfather, his family, the Murdaugh family,
Yeah.
have been the prosecuting attorneys in the state of South Carolina since 1920. It's been for over a century,
Wow.
if you can imagine. It started with the great-grandfather. He was there for 20 years. And then the grandfather, I believe, was there for 40 years. And then his father was there for 20 years. And then he was there. Can you imagine? And I just feel like with Alex Murdaugh, he was so used to lying, bearing false witness, stealing. This is what I really think. Because people who are habitual liars and
Yeah.
they're thieves,
Right.
there's other things that they are doing.
Absolutely.
And when I look at stuff like the 10 Commandments, right? I bet that man has committed all those crimes of the 10 Commandments. I will not be surprised that he hasn't. And I think after he knew that the heat was coming, and they were going to find him out about all these. In fact, they had started to find out from the secretary. They had started to find out,
Yeah.
like, something is off here. I feel like he got to a space where it was like, something. I've committed all these commandments except killing. I might as well start doing that now. Maybe. There's something out there now that says in the past 6 years with this family, allegedly 5 murders have been committed
Wow.
in the past 6 years. And all of those murders, there is the Murdaugh name. They are involved in some kind of way with these people who died.
Wow.
Not
That's
that they
crazy.
actually held the gun. Certainly not in Maggie and Paul's case.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who has been convicted of killing them. But I think he just really reached that stage where he was just like, you know something. I mean, what's more, what's one more commandment that I haven't done? I might as well do my killing.
Yeah.
That's how little I think he considered it.
Yeah.
And I felt like maybe he did it. People kept asking, well, what is his motive? There's no motive. The motive for someone like that can be something as simple as I want sympathy from people, especially with, the stealing that I've done.
Yeah.
I want some kind of sympathy,
Right.
because then they'll say, oh, this poor guy, he was on drugs, then his wife was killed, his son was killed.
Yeah.
That kind of sympathy.
Right.
That's what I think this man was looking for. That's what I think. Anyhow, I really want to. They said this past summer, 2022, he was disbarred. So he lost his attorney license.
Rightfully so.
And he rightfully so. The trial was actually, sorry, I said 6 weeks, it was actually 4 weeks. It was 28 days, 75 witnesses, and the jury only took 3 hours to deliberate.
Wow.
Only 3 hours.
Wow.
I think that's the fastest I've ever heard.
Well, no, not R. Kelly, well, somebody who said they deliberate for 30 minutes.
I think that was R. Kelly. Was that R.
I think
Kelly?
so.
Only 3 hours. They deliberated and they were done. One of the jurors actually spoke, and he said that they actually, when they went into the juror room, there were 2 of them. 9 of them were like, because it was 12 jurors, 9 of them were like guilty, for sure.
Yeah.
2 of them were not guilty. They said not guilty. 1 did not know, was not sure. But within those 3 hours of them talking among themselves, everybody had a guilty verdict. Now, the judge, Judge Newman, apparently this judge, they said he lost his son. His son passed away a few weeks ago. So that was very sad. But the judge, Judge Newman, asked him before he started his sentencing. He asked, first he asked the prosecutor if he had the prosecutor spoke up, said some stuff that the prosecuting attorney said that there were times when Alex Murdaugh, when they were taking him away at the end of each day of testimony, he will try to stare him down.
Stare who down?
The prosecuting attorney, as they were leading him away each day, he had the audacity to be trying to stare down the prosecuting attorney.
Weird.
And it is very weird. But you know what it is? He's also entitled.
Well,
My family has been who they are for 100 years. You think you're going to get me? Who the hell do you think you are? Probably that's what he was thinking.
you're just making yourself look more guilty as you're doing that.
So he said, but now, he's like, and I could see in his eyes, like there was no remorse.
Yeah.
None. Even the juror said that all that crying that he did, with snot coming out of his nose, he said he did not see any tears. There was a lady on Fox News
Yeah.
who said, it's not every time you cry that there are tears.
That's not true. That's not true.
I don't know who these people are. I mean, we saw Robin Brown cry with no tears.
Yeah.
Anytime I cry, I have tears. I don't know how people cry without tears.
But you got some disease
It's like
that
a
you
new
can't
thing
have
now.
water come from your eyes.
Yeah, even in the movies these days, women are crying and men are crying without tears. And they're allowing it. And I guess because people they don't have that feeling anymore. They can't evoke the feeling for tears to come. I don't know. But yeah, it was funny when she said so. She was on Fox News. She's like, oh yeah, you can cry without tears. I was like, okay. You can make the noises. But yeah, the juror says, I didn't fall for any of that because there were no tears. There was no remorse. even though he's crying, snot's coming out of his nose, but no. But so the judge asked the defendant, he said, do you have anything to say? And the attorney said, well, we don't have anything to say, but he wants to say something. And he stands up, Alex Murdaugh, and this is what he says. I'm innocent. I'll never hurt my wife, Maggie, and I'll never hurt my son, Paul. He's the boy's name is Paul. While he was, because he actually testified in his own trial against probably his lawyers wanting him to. But he thought, Alex Murdaugh, he was so fucking entitled, he actually thought he can get away with it. I'm going to sit my ass up on this stand. I'm going to be looking these jurors in the eye with my snot coming down my nose, and they will believe me. I will say yes. I will tell them, let them know I stole all this money, and let you all know that, look, I even admitted that I stole money. So when I tell you, the liar that I am, when I tell you I didn't shoot my wife and son, you should believe me. Delusional. Anyway, delusional. So when he took the stand, that's when we started finding out all the things. One of the main things that we found out, this happened in 2021, right? So that was like almost a year and a half ago, right? Yeah, it's been over a year and a half. At that time, he had told the law enforcement, he told them that he wasn't at the kennel because they were killed. They used to hold animals and dogs in the kennel. They had like a kennel near their house.
Yeah.
But it was part of their property, right?
Right.
Maggie and the son were out there with the dogs.
Yeah.
And the only thing that really saved them, Paul, the son, was videotaping him playing with one of his friend's dog that was in the kennel.
Right.
And so Paul said something. Then his mother said, oh, he has a chicken. And then the father said, Bubba, call the son. So you could hear the father in the background.
Wow.
Speaking, having made two sentences. And so they called people up there who knew him. And they said, who is that voice? And they said it was him.
Mm.
So even in death, Paul was able to have that video. Because when they checked his video, his father didn't know that he was recording a video. So the father had said that he had told law enforcement that he wasn't there. In fact, they had dinner, and then he left, and then they left and went to the kennel, he said, and then he stayed at home, took a nap, took a shower, and then left to go see his mom, who has dementia. She's being looked over by somebody else.
You're right.
So he lied. But when he got on the stand, this is after a year and a half, and they asked him, they said, you saw the video. He said, you told the cops you weren't there. And he asked him, were you there? And he said, yes, I was there.
Well, because, they'll put you in jail for lying under law or something, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, all his friends have come through. His partners, law partners have come through and said it was him on there.
Yeah.
It was him on there. So he had no choice but to say something.
Yeah.
But I think that when he went on trial, when he went up, when he testified, I think that was his plan. I'm going to be honest up until a point. And maybe I'll be able to fool the juror enough for them to think, well, you know something? Why will he lie? Why will this habitual liar lie about something so, devastating? Why would he lie when he's telling us the truth?
Yeah.
Finally, after a year and a half, you thought the jurors were delusional.
Yeah. But that's the entitlement again.
That's what it is. So this is what happened. So the attorney, I love the way the attorney spoke. Oh, the whole Papa thing.
Yeah.
When he did that with the prosecuting attorney and called Paul Papa, the prosecuting attorney said, who is Papa? He said, oh, Paul. I call him Papa all the time. He said, but all this time that we've been having this trial, and when you spoke to law enforcement, you never called him Papa before. So is it only now you're calling him Papa? He started calling him Papa, calling the wife Mags. He was trying to create some narrative for the juror. Oh, they have nicknames. Oh, his Papa has died.
I mean, he was
No,
trying to say
you
that was somebody
killed
else.
Papa. You killed Max.
How he killed him?
Cold-blooded. Shot them dead.
Wow.
Not too long after that video, the video was at what, 8:44. It seemed like they determined they died like before 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
and he was trying to tell, and he said he found them after 9. So they
Yeah.
were killed during that little bit of time. That he had lied before and said he wasn't there. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, in 2019, his son Paul was riding a boat, and I'm just watching you all the Murdaugh murders and stuff. In 2019, his son Paul was riding a boat in which one of his friends, his best friend's girlfriend, he was drunk when he was driving.
Right.
The best friend's girlfriend was on the boat and fell over.
Wow.
Because, I mean, he was driving the boat recklessly and she drowned and died. Their family covered it up. I'm watching it, so I don't really know what happened, but I know she died. He was trying to tell the police officers when they came, after he called 911 finally,
Right.
when they came, he was like, "They're dead, aren't they? They're dead, aren't they?" Because he said when he got there, he took their pulse. Who does that? As soon as you come, you see someone there. Before I even get to the bodies, I'm calling 911.
Yeah.
I'm out here. This is my name. There are
You
two
see that? Let me make sure you
You're
dead?
there for
Are you
sure.
dead? Yeah.
Went to his son, checked the wife. Then he went to his car and called. Ain't nobody doing that mess.
Because he doesn't want them to be alive so they can speak what
Yes.
happened. Yeah.
Yes. He needs to make sure. Do I need to get the gun again and shoot again?
A terrible
And
technique
then he used 2 different guns
to confuse them.
to see if exactly maybe they can say it was 2 people who did it. Then he was trying to tell the cops, my son Paul. He didn't call him Paul then. My son has been having death threats and stuff like that. Oh my God, they finally got him. They got him. I was just like, this man, he thought that he was, I don't know if he was high. I don't know what drugs he was taking. He must have been taking some good shit because he wasn't thinking clearly. I mean, for you to think you're going to get over this, it's laughable.
He was doing some cocaine.
He was doing
He's doing
something.
some
Or
good
maybe
stuff.
the good crack. I don't do
Crack. I do cocaine. Whitney.
Oh Lord. So anyhow, the judge, I love the way the judge, and if you guys just stay with me for a second, the judge said, your family, this judge looked really disappointed because the judge knows him. This man his family has been the bedrock of law enforcement
Wow.
in South Carolina all these years. The judge said, your family for a century have prosecuted others and petitioned the death penalty for crimes less than what you did. That was powerful.
Wow.
He said that even like they had portraits of his grandfather, great grandfather
Yeah.
in the room where they were. Like I said, they were the bedrock of law prosecution in South Carolina. Okay. He said he asked him. He said, when you were on the stand, you said, "Oh, what a tangled web we weave." He said, "What do you mean by that?" And he said, "Well, anytime I told a lie, I had to tell another lie, and I kept on telling another lie." So that's what he meant by that. He said, you had such a lovely family, a friendly family. He said, I'm sure Maggie and Paul come and visit you, meaning their ghost. He said, I'm sure they come visit you. And he said, yes. He nodded. He said, yes. They come visit you because you killed them. And they want to know why. He said, your license to practice law has been stripped. You changed from prosecutor to witness. You had an opportunity and you declared innocence, yet you are in this weave where you look the jury in the eye and lie and lie. And then while the judge is talking, he pipes up, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I will never kill my wife or papa. He says, maybe it wasn't you. Maybe you become another person, a monster,
Yeah.
which is you, after you take 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 pills, opioid pills. He said you had access to the will of justice to be able to deflect this investigation, because he has access
Yeah.
to all of this stuff, so he can deflect, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
to something else. Because like when they got him, when the police officers were there, when he called 911, he's there deflecting. Oh my God, they got him. They got him because he was getting all these death threats. Of course, trying to paint the picture, it was two people because it's two different rifles that killed
Yeah.
these people. He said, just imagine on that day, June 7th, when a lawyer is confronted, and that's him. He was confronted that day, June 7th. Just imagine on that day, June 7th, when a lawyer is confronted and confesses to have stolen $500,000 from a client. And he has a tiger on his tail pursuing discovery in the case of the death of Mallory. And having a father, for the most part, on his deathbed. I really can't imagine what was going through your mind that day. Because his father was on his deathbed at that time. Because the
Yeah.
father died 3 days after the killing of Maggie.
Oh, wow.
And I wonder if they even told the father, if you guys know, if they told the father, if he was aware that Maggie had died and Paul had died, let me know. He said, but amazingly, to have you come. He said, I really can't imagine what was going through your mind that day. But amazingly, to have you come and testify in this court that it was just another ordinary day. That's what he said. June 7th was just another ordinary day. That's what he said in court.
Wow.
And that's why your ass should not testify. But, you know, sometimes you begin to feel like God.
Yeah.
He said, you said my wife and son and I were out just enjoying life. He said, that's not credible. It's not believable. He said, you can convince yourself about it, but obviously you have the inability to convince anyone else about that because they found your ass guilty.
Hello.
So if you made any such argument as a lawyer, you will lose every case like that. Cases you will never have an opportunity to argue anymore, except perhaps your own, as you sit in the Department of Corrections. And then he says, I sentence you to State Department of Corrections for the murder of your wife, Maggie Murdaugh, for the rest of your natural life. And for Paul Murdaugh, the murder of Paul Murdaugh, for the rest of your natural life. Sentences to run consecutively,
Good.
one after the other. So you're going to be there for the rest of your life. You're never going to be able to have parole. And that Judge Newman, he said everything he said, but there was a humanity.
Yeah.
There was a disappointment, kind of like he felt very disillusioned by him.
Yeah.
You know, because it's something that he knows. He probably knew his father too.
Yeah, I'm sure he was shocked. The judge.
Mm-hmm. Knew his father, but just like your family has been able to like give all this judgment, really I feel like he was the weakest link. Maybe he thought himself, and maybe his father had told him through the years, "You're the weakest link of this of the four men." Maybe because, for whatever reason, the character wasn't there.
Yeah.
But I wonder if the character was in the other men. That was way too much power for them to have since 1920.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, I don't think that should be allowed.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like, I don't know, the royal family or something.
Yeah.
I don't think that should be allowed at all.
So they were like the only prosecutors in that country? In that state?
In the state, yeah.
Oh, so they were the only ones?
Since 1920, their family.
Wow. They really kept that stuff in the family name.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think you should be able to do that. I don't know what South Carolina was doing, but I don't think you should be able to do anything like that at all through the years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At some point, you have to say, okay, maybe after 2 generations of the same family, you gotta change.
Yeah, for sure.
That's too much power. And then he had this badge that he was given his father's badge, and he had another badge. I guess it was just a badge, probably for, I don't know, decoration. But it was like a law enforcement badge. You are not a law enforcement officer.
Yeah.
How he got this badge, I don't know, but they gave him this badge. And when stuff happened with his son Paul, he'll put the badge here. He will hold it somewhere, so the other law enforcement people will feel a warmth towards him, like we're the same kind of people. He said even when he was driving his car, he'll put the badge right up under his windshield, so that when they stop him, they'll see it. And so he can get over and not get tickets for stuff.
Wow.
He
has so much power.
He misused his badge so that he can get over and the most minuscule things. How the hell do you want us to believe that you don't use your position for something so big as a murder, please? And you want us to buy that? Delusional. He was very, very delusional.
Absolutely.
Anyhow, they showed his last picture, which we're going to put it in here, how he looks like. He shaved off his whole head.
Good.
After they showered him, probably sprayed him down with some dog hole shower. And there was a deputy next to him, one of the guys who let him out. As the judge was talking, the man just kept shaking his head as if he was so damn disgusted with his food.
Yeah.
You had it all, which this is why I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Tim Norman. You had it all. You had it all.
That goes back to not being grateful.
Yeah, you had it all. It's the same thing. I mean, when I'm watching this stuff about the son, which we will talk about later, and we'll probably bring it up here. But even with the son drinking like crazy, but they said that son Paul, the girlfriend said he was like, kind of like the weakest link in the family. Yeah. She called him the black sheep of the family. I don't use that term. I don't use that term, black sheep.
Yeah. It's
because
not a good term.
you might just call him the white sheep of the family. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't use the word black to attach to something else.
That's negative.
That's negative. I just don't do that. Because I know why that word is given. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, no, he was, that's how she said it. She said that the parent loved, especially the mother, loved the other brother better.
Yeah.
And showed it than Paul. Paul was the younger brother. And they said that in fact it was the housekeeper who mysteriously was murdered. Or died under mysterious circumstances that they actually blamed the family for. They said it was the housekeeper actually who raised him, who raised Paul. But Paul was very reckless. He's the one who he killed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the father, so when I saw that, I guess he had no qualms killing him. Yeah. They said the boy's brain was out when he shot him.
Like
the
his wife?
The wife was shot twice. One like from here through the head, and then there are two like in the back, and I think underneath the buttocks. You know, probably he shot the son first. Probably the mother running to the son, then he shoots her from the back.
Probably.
But yeah, this man gonna be in jail. I'm very happy about it. I'm very happy that he was found guilty. Justice has been served.
Absolutely.
And that's the end of that family generation.
Yeah.
And hopefully, South Carolina, you will not allow Buster, who's the next Murdaugh, to be in some prosecuting attorney there moving forward. You know?
Yeah.
There has to be some laws for that. You can't have generational families being in charge of that for a whole 100 centuries. That's not democracy as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, anyway.
It's Mary.
And Amma.
You might just like,
share,
subscribe,
comment, tell us what do you think about this. Did you agree with it? Or were you one of the ones who were like, no, and whatever? Just tell us what you think and what you think about this family. 100 years. Wow. Anyhow, bye.